Alright, I'm gonna show you how I put my Power Commander 5 on my CB. First I place the block here and I put the scratch right under it so they hold it in place. And then I put the cable, I passed it right here. So if you can see here, I just bent this plastic a little bit and it went right in between. So then you remove your seat with an Allen key. Here you go, and you pull it out here. So from here the cable went through, went behind here, and here you need to remove this little cover. So you have this screw. As you can see here, the cable goes under it, and here I attached it here under the seat, and I made sure it was far enough so it's it's not too tight, but at the same time it's short enough so you can plug this little one to the battery on the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna go on the other side and remove this screw. All right, removing that screw up. Let's give you access to here. This little cover is lifted up, and you can remove it. This one is just held by a plastic. There you go. Okay, so you see my cable, I passed it here, attached it here, and then I had to remove here this axe that goes on this side and on the other side here. Here you go, so you have to hold it on both sides. So I have to remove this side too, the same way, one screw, remove these things, and then you can pull the cover here. And I think it's a little bit different. This cover is just a triangle, and so to come back here, I place the cable right under here, under the tank, and you arrive right here. And that's where there is your injectors. So that's your injector number 1. So you can see I have one side plug here and the other side plug here to the Power Commander. So the trick is they are all aligned. So you have 1, further is 2, then 3, then 4. So I advise to lift the tank a little bit. So what I do is I put on this side, I put this piece of wood, and I put it in between the bone of the bike and a tank on this side to lift a bit and have more room. And then here you remove those two and you can lift it, and I use this piece of wood to put in between the tank and the bike here, like this, like right under it. What else? This one is the last piece that you're gonna have to change, and you can see here is a wire going here. I put it in. You have to remove this cover. So this cover, it's one screw here and one screw here. And the same way you basically unplug the OEM plug, and you put your Power Commander on one side, and you plug the original OEM on the other side. There was like 2 plugs to insert in between your OEM plug and whatever you are affecting, the throttle and or the injectors. I'm gonna remove some more cover on the other side, because the other side is the tricky one, so I can show you what it is about. Alright, so I removed that screw. There is actually here, it's a little bit different. There's like a plastic tab here that goes inside here, but then you lift it up too and it pulls straight. Alright, so this one, I think it's just hold it by plastic tab. There you go, yeah. one little one and one here. So it goes here. I think this one fell off, so be careful. The other day, and that's on the other side. So it's, you see, it's quite tricky to see the injector, but they're hiding behind that over there. So here I have access to the other axe side, so I'm gonna take a key like this and another side like this, and I'm just gonna turn both sides at the same time. So, and then I'm gonna use the same key, this one, just to remove this these two screws, and I'm gonna put my wooden pieces, and I'll show you the rest. Alright, when you pull your axis, once you untight it on the other side, just be careful not to lose this one. But once you pull this one, it stays in place. Don't worry, it's not gonna fall. So let me do it. There you go, the axis. Now I'm gonna go check on the other side, those two, and I can lift it up. So for the axe under this first axe over there, this one was a 10 millimeter. Okay. For those two screws over there, it is a, bear with me, 8 millimeter. Okay. You need to be careful with this thing, so I have to pull it a little bit. There is a piece of plastic. I put it in, push, and pull, and I think then you're good. There's nothing here. On the other side, you're gonna have to do the same thing, I think. Yeah, exactly. Push down a little bit and then you pull toward yourself very nicely. You don't need to remove all the screws in the front. And now I should be able to lift it up. So I'm gonna lift it up on this side first, and then I'm gonna insert the piece of wood, and I'm gonna do then the other side, and I'll show you. Alright, I lifted up this one first and I slide this one inside to lift it up a little bit. On this side, I forgot to tell you, there is like a little pin here, so if you pull too hard it's gonna pull out. So pull this one out before you try to lift the whole tank. But already I think with just that you can have a little bit of an idea of where I put the cable here in between, on top, and then it's coming out here. So you see you have all the different colors for different injectors, and that let's explain in the procedure which one goes where. I think the green and the yellow I think were the back, and the blue is the number 2 and red number 1, if I remember well, but I might be mistaken. And the black one is the throttle, which is here. So this one I said is this screw, and this one that's an easy one. But so you need very thin fingers basically to push all your cables, the one from the number 4, number 3, you want to push them as far as possible this way, and keep the number 2 and number 1 on this side. Then once you have pushed everything through on the other side, I plug the number 2, then the number 1, so the access is all blocked. Then you can plug this one if you want right away or avoid the end, doesn't matter. And then you go on the other side. And the trick here on this side is those pipe or those tubing, they are on the way and you don't want to remove them. So there is a plate, they take a picture of it in the procedure, but it's basically a plate behind here. So I'm going to lift this one up with you, the piece of wood, and I'm going to show you how to remove this piece without, it's just basically 3 screws. You pull it a little bit so you can stretch and access to the injector behind. So I put my piece of wood there, I lifted up, but I had a problem when I lifted up on a piece of wood. It started to slide down, so I put it back here, and I think I would advise you to leave the once to remove this side, put the piece of wood, push your cabling through until the injectors nicely and tucked in, and then put it back, put back the axis. So I think I'm going to put it back because I'm afraid it's not very stable. To put back the axis, and then only after that you remove here the screws, this one and the clip that was here, and you lift it up. So now it is stable there, you can have a better view of what's going on here. It's quite cool actually. So this is the part that they have on a picture that is really not easy to identify, but basically from here you have to remove this screw, so you can move this part a little bit so you can have access to where is it? There is a screw, yeah, right here, this one, and there is another one that is hiding behind this, I think. Yeah, it's right over there. So those two screws, so you remove this screw to be able to access to those two screws. That's the plate, and that plate is on the way. So once you move a little bit this and you remove that plate, you will be able to access through this, moving a little bit those tubings, this one and this one. You can access behind through the front, basically. Through the front you can have access to the fourth and the third injector. Okay, the fourth one is not too difficult. Where is it? It's right here. So you can sorry, there's the light. Here you go. Can't see. Shoot. Yeah, here it is. So that's your right behind here is the fourth one. So actually I can tell you which color it is. It is a blue. Actually no, it's here. It's right there. It's easy to access. It's right here. Right here. So blue one. So the blue one is the first one. It's right here. And the third one, which is the most annoying one, I'm trying to see the color, but I think it's a green. Yeah, it's a green. So I confirm. So the blue one, that's right here, easy access, is a fourth injector. The third one is a green one. That's a painful one where you have to remove this thing and the two screws. 3 screws overall, this one and the one behind that and the one on the left, and the two first one on the other side. Okay, and then you just put back everything nicely and tight, and you should be good to go. All right.